Welcome. This is another in a series of videos with Aubrey Daniels from Aubrey Daniels International, based on the book, Oops, Management Practices That Waste Time and Money and What to Do About Them. In this video, we'll talk about two big mistakes that companies make in what managers and employees often value the most. We're going to talk first about managers who are not well-liked and managers who are well-liked. I mean, in traditional business, the hard-nosed managers seem to be the ones that companies value the most. Smart?
Not smart.
Why?
Well, it strikes me as odd that you think that somebody who is not well-liked could cause people to do their best. And when you use the word tough, we're talking about, plain-spoken, quick to
I've worked for a
make
screamer
decisions.
before.
Well, screamers never produce the best performance. In your own case, I'm sure.
Well,
how
the
you
fear
respond
is,
to that.
really what it boils down to is these managers who are not well-liked, which are all over corporate America, are the ones who are supposed to poke and prod and push you to do better by insisting that you do that.
Well, these managers manage with negative reinforcement. And the science tells us very clearly that negative reinforcement never gets the best out of people. The problem is that when you use negative reinforcement and punishment, you see an immediate response. The long-term response, though, is not good. In other words, people will give you enough to escape that negative interaction, but they really won't do their best.
The point in the book is there are hidden costs that tend to get overlooked that add up to far more than that immediate jolt of productivity you get when you're being yelled at.
Yes. And, anybody can think about a boss who's yelled and screamed at them, or who's been tough, or what they would even call mean, and how they responded. And they did their job, but they thought of other things they could do that they said, nah, I don't think I'm going to do that.
And yet, do you have to be... He's a really nice guy. I sure like working for him. Does that in and of itself mean that you're going to get the most?
Just being a nice person doesn't guarantee that you're going to have good performance. And this is why I talk in the book about the fact that if you don't understand the science of human behavior, then you make mistakes on both sides. There's a place for negative consequences in the workplace. There's a place for positive consequences, and certainly it's important to know the difference, when to be positive and when to be negative. Somebody who is nice all the time is not going to be effective, I can tell you that. Because there are occasions where somebody needs to be told, no, don't do that. But the fact of the matter is that we want the culture that is focused on what people are doing and what people are doing well.
Comes back to positive reinforcement.
Absolutely.
Now, when it comes to employees who tend to be regarded by the bosses as the stars, the employees from which the future of the company will emanate, and where all of the attention is going to be lavished.
Yes.
Why is that wrong?
Well, the idea is that we want a culture where everybody feels that they've got a part to play, and that their performance is important. When you think of stars, then you have a segregated workplace. We treat the stars better than we treat everybody, which always seems to me to be in competition with the whole notion of teamwork.
And yet those stars might have the talent, inherent talent, to produce things, to get things done, to generate the business that clients are going to value the most. And somebody who's not a star won't have those skills.
Well, I understand that people do come to the workplace with different experiences and different skill sets. The thing that I tackle in the book is this whole idea that some people are sort of inherently able to do things that others can't do. Anders Ericsson at Florida State University has done extensive research on experts. And what he finds is that the correlation between IQ and expertise is 0.02, which means there's no correlation. So if we have a workplace that focuses on skill development, then we can teach anybody to do this.
So the metric in the book is, this may not be practical for a company, but 10,000 hours.
10,000 hours of deliberate practice you can be an expert in most anything.
So about 5 years, you can learn whatever.
Right.
But companies don't have that kind of time.
Well, most of the time they do actually. You know, I mean, if they think about, you know, I've seen organizations that go through people where they hire somebody, they don't do it, they bring somebody else in, they don't do it. They're not prepared to develop people in the way that everybody says they're going to develop people. You know, that should be an ongoing thing. It shouldn't be something where we end up with sort of an emergency where we need somebody. You know, it struck me as odd that they're talking in Washington at this very moment about a person, you know, in the financial area, like he's the only person who could do this job. Well, that's not true. There are many, many people who could do that job, not just one.
And in fact, we'll be better off if many people are involved in doing that job.
Absolutely.
So it's a culture of training and a culture where well-liked managers are the ones who tend to prevail and in fact produce the most results. Aubrey, thank you. This is another in a series of videos from Aubrey Daniels International based on the book Oops, Management Practices That Waste Time and Money and What to Do Instead. Available now online at aubreydaniels.com.